Welcome to episode 330 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John, and I'm joined by Ryan.
Hey, everybody, here at the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games we've recently picked up, games we're currently playing, and we jump and shoot in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
So, Mega Man 4 to end our iconic characters month.
And my iconic run at my house here.
I see. Yeah, if you're watching YouTube, Ryan has nothing in his room, obviously. And for those listening, that's kind of the situation as well. And if you hear an echo or any sort of like, why is Ryan in a tunnel? He's pretty much in a tunnel right now.
Yeah, I know. And it's like I just got a new laptop and finally was able to get the new mic that we got like 6 months ago working. So it's like better quality, nothing to see, poor audio.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited to see the new gaming room setup that you end up with, when it's all
Yeah,
said and done.
yeah. It'll be a slow evolution, I'm sure. I've seen a lot of YouTube people move over the years and kind of seeing that like transition stage when they're getting set up is always kind of fun. So I'm sure we'll have some time where there'll be like, lots of movement and things around. Cause I mean, we've only been doing the video for what, like 30 episodes now? So
This is 31, I think. I want to say we
okay.
started on 299.
Okay, yeah. So we haven't really been doing the video that long, but like I've had my room set up in that same way for quite some time. So it's not
Yeah.
like we've ever really had to have like much of a scene change or anything. But I don't know. As somebody who watches a ton of YouTube, I always love like backgrounds and like I also love when YouTubers do like a video like, oh, let me, show you all my stuff and talk about some of it. I find that to be fun too. So maybe one day we'll do something cool like that.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll get like a little tiny table set up and have my laptop and microphone and then all my video games in the background. That'd be kind of nice. But
Hmm.
just, based on what I do today, like I kind of have to have my desktop in
Yeah.
my office space. So that's really the issue there. That's hence why there's giraffes for my wife over here and sports stuff on the shelf along with
And
more
all the
giraffes.
Stephen King books ever.
Oh yeah, she just bought one actually for herself. She's like, "Oh yeah, it's pretty good premise. Like I'm really interested in reading it." And she looked on my shelf for more Stephen King books. Apparently, like, well, we got them all, so I think we're set.
Yeah.
And then obviously my table here, which I need to get the sorting magic cards. I finally finished my garage, so that's now that that's done, I can maybe start working on magic. We'll
Yeah,
see.
you had kind of all your 3D printing stuff all taking up the space there for a while.
Yeah, and I just 3D printed something for Joel yesterday, and dude, it's crazy. So like the garage obviously was emptied out, cleaned, new flooring, new paint, all of that stuff done. So it had like that fresh, like new house type of smell to it. And I ran a 3D printer. I'm like, whoa, that is some potent resin smell. So I went ahead and opened up the garage to let it flow out. And then of course yesterday was windy, so I opened it up like came in later to look at it. There's leaves all in my garage. I'm like,
Yep.
son of a bitch.
You can never win.
So no, dude. So I ended up getting like a large industrial fan today to put in my garage. So whenever
You can always just like crack it.
I did, and and the resin was still bad. So what I'm gonna do is maybe get it to where it's like 3 feet up, and I've got this big ass fan that I'm just gonna set in the garage, and it'll just circulate air out. That's the idea. So it's one of those, not one of the fans they use for like when you have mold remediation issues, but it's like a big
Hmm.
24-inch like industrial style fan of wheels. So I'll end up using that and seeing how it goes. So I guess does that count as a pickup this week? No.
I mean, like only in the most boring way possible, but I don't know. Gamers have more of an appreciation for fans than other people, I assume, just because like computers need fans. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
People are fans of fans.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, what else are we going to talk about other than my fan this weekend?
Yeah, so other than John's biggest fan, this week, Pokemon Day was happening, and we got the DL on AZ and everything else they had to show. And then, oh boy, let's start talking about the PS6, please, please. And finally, closing out with that inflation deflation.
Dude, the second I saw that article come up of like the PS6, I'm like, Ryan's going to love this. Let me go ahead and pull this for the week.
It just like, I don't know, man. I always get just like flashbacks. I remember having a meltdown with you at your like first house when we were recording, and it was like still the Nintendo NX. And I'm just like, I'm so sick. It's been like 6 months, and every week we're talking about like speculation. And now it's just like, cool. This is going to be out in 2 years. Let's start the trend. Let's start talking about it now.
Got to keep it going. It's a nice little title, right? PS6 release date revealed. No, I'm not going to go that far, but I might say like, is it time to release the PS6? We'll see what happens. But of course, you can find all of that content on our social media channels. So at Game Deflators on X, at the Game Deflators on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and Blue Sky. You can find us on thegamedeflators.com. We're also on YouTube. If you're watching us right now, thank you. Go ahead and hit the little bell so you know when we're on. Subscribe, comment, like, all of that comes with it. And if you're listening, same deal. You've been listening to us for a while. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I don't know why you wouldn't. And leave us a 5-star review. That I'm sure you need to be doing. And then of course you can share us all over those networks. So let's
Yeah.
go into pickups. I'm excited about this one. First, I finally got this.
Ooh, pretty.
Ooh, right. Monster Manual, new 2025
Yeah, I can't
release,
wait to see that in
technically.
person. That looks really cool.
50th anniversary logo on the back. So that'll go nicely with the player's handbook. And then, well, I've got the player's handbook, I've got the Monster Manual. I could not pass up the new Dungeon Master Guide as well.
Ooh, very
Right?
cool.
Yeah, that looks really nice. So I got the alternate covers on these, and I'm pretty excited about them. So if people don't know about this and you're a D&D fan, or really like anything tied to like RPGs, Game Nerds is usually who I use. And so those books cost me 37.50 a piece versus the like standard 50 to 60 that you'll see for alternate covers in store. So it's kind of nice when they do that. I guess because they're a large online retailer and considered a hobby shop as well. They tend to get a lot of merchandise in. So like the Monster Manual, for example, they were shorted on their allocation. They're like, oh yeah, we're getting a whole new shipment in like this week. And that's when I called them like, hey, this should have come in like maybe 2 weeks ago. What's going on? And they explained it to me, and my order got fulfilled, and I was all solid on that. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked, dude. Like that Mind Flayer artwork is sick. Um, Thicker manual for sure, and then of course I love looking at the artwork in D&D books. There's just so much good stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, excited to dig into those. Um, let's see. So that was my pickup. Playing, I've got Fantasia Neo Dimension, of course. I'm still messing with that. And I could not, dude, I honestly, because I'm so spread in between on like days that I'm playing, I can never fully tell you the story like outright. Like even character names are kind of escaping me at times. But
The best
essentially,
thing is when games have that like summary, like when you boot it
well,
back up and it'll summarize. Oh, I love games that do that.
so it does actually. If you
Oh,
go
it
into
does?
yeah, so if you go into story, it'll have like the things that you've completed, your objectives, so like completed or in progress. So every time before I hop on, I actually jump in to say, okay, cool. Like, what actually am I doing right now before I start diving back in? So that's always nice before I start recording. But really, kind of long story short, you have a main character who he doesn't have his memories, and we're trying to figure out those answers. And so there's all of this crazy stuff happening in the world, of course, as it is with all RPGs. And the goal is, of course, right now to start finding his memories to see what the heck's actually happening. Um,
Nice.
but the gameplay itself is very good. I do like the gameplay. The graphics are nice. The audio is nice. The artwork itself is very nice in the game. Like it's a very well made video game. It's just, and the story is actually good. It's just, like I said, I played maybe 1 or 2 times this past week, and then I've been swamped with painting and other crap. So my mind's just not on remembering every component of it. And it doesn't
Mhm.
help that I'm only about 8 to 9 hours in on this game. So it's how RPGs are. Like it takes a while to get used to characters and the names and all that. And if I'm not playing it every day for 2, 3 hours, whatever it may be, some of that stuff's gonna escape me over time. But I promise I'll get there at some point. And yeah, I'm enjoying what I'm playing. The
Nice.
other thing that I did this week is I unveiled my new D&D character in our other group in the homebrew. So just want to let you know how that went. Um, so I don't remember if I went into specifics with like the items that I have on this character, but I have a cloak of displacement, which is going to give him like attacks against him at disadvantage unless he's hit, and then the disadvantage attack returns after the end of his next turn every other turn, basically, I'm guaranteed a disadvantage attack against me for the first attack. Um, he also has a ring that has a rat named Bubbles, and the rat obeys his every command. And the rat, when it dies, can be resummoned the next day.
Does the
So
rat also know martial arts?
the rat does not know martial arts, but the rat likes to curse at me a lot, actually. So I don't speak with animals, but other people in the group do speak with animals. And the rat absolutely hates me, saying that I put him in danger all the time and he's died countless times. And Joel ran through. He's like, there was one time I was stepped, one time I was burned alive, one time I was cut in half. And he starts going into all these specifics. So that was pretty funny. And then my character
It's
also
like
is an
itchy and
avid,
scratchy rat.
right? My character is an avid fan of pizza, but in the D&D world, of course, we don't know what pizza is. So, uh,
Flatbreads.
yeah, so I basically went into it and I'm like, hey, can you make me that bread with the sauce on the top and the cheese, and then have it delivered to whatever location? And yeah, it's 30 minutes or less, or it's free, right? And they're like, yeah, yeah, no problem. So as we're walking, I tell the rat, I'm like, hey, we're having pizza again. And he's like, no, he's like, we've had pizza every day the last 2 weeks. So
Nice.
it's been pretty funny. Joel had the way that he introduced my character, I was in the sewers. They chased vampires into these sewers, and they're in the middle of this battle. Smoke screen comes up because, smoke bomb from my character being a ninja assassin rogue type deal. And I'm just picking them off one by one, the enemies, because I rolled like a crit. And then I have sneak attack on my character. So, like, all of these other things started piling up. So I took out two of the three enemies they were fighting. But after the battle concluded, Joel switched it over to the Ninja Turtles movie, like musical score. And so we just have like Ninja Turtles music kind of lightly playing in the background.
Go
And everybody's
ninja,
like,
go ninja, go.
so everybody's like, what the heck's going on? Like, why are you playing Ninja Turtles? And then everybody just kind of, it caught them for a moment. They're like, wait a second. John hasn't done anything yet. And so they went up to the sewers, and I'm like telling my rat, like, shut the fuck up. Like, you're being too loud. They're going to spot us. And then they spot me. I'm like, oh, hi. I'm Donatello, Splinter. And so Ginny even looks at me and says, you made a goddamn Ninja Turtle? And I'm like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is owned by DK Animation, Nickelodeon, all rights reserved. I do not represent the Ninja Turtles franchise. Please respect the original, creation. And that's just written within like my character sheet. So whenever somebody in the group says you made a Ninja Turtle, I'm just going to repeat that. So it's going to be great.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be great. But dude, this character's like stupid good. So like, you know how most rogues are a 15, 16 AC? I have a 20 dex and a 20 con. So my rogue automatically as a turtle, I have a 17 AC with a shield makes it a 19. So I'm already locked in on that. My dex is obviously 5. My con is high at a 5 or 20, and so it's a 5 plus. But the crazy thing is that when I rolled my HP, it's a 1d8 plus my con modifier. I rolled like out of the 11 rolls for my character, I want to say 6 of them were a 7 or an 8. So at the end, I end up like 126 HP for this rogue. So I basically have a tank rogue who has a sneak attack ability and then
Nice.
uncanny dodge and all these other things. My lowest stat is an 11. So I don't have anything less than a +0. All my other stuff is +2, +3, and then +5s. And then I've got expertise. So there's like my stealth, I get a +13, but because I'm proficient in it, I can't roll anything less than a 10. So Joel's like, oh, roll a stealth check. I'm like, I'm not going to roll. It's a 23. Like,
Auto win.
auto win. Yeah. Like Angela's like looking around. He's like, oh, John, do you want to contest the roll? I'm like, why would I contest it? She rolled a 17. Like I beat that. She doesn't, nothing happens. So yeah, good stuff. I'm definitely enjoying this character already. And there's going
Sounds
to be
like a
some
fun
nice,
one.
there's going to be some quirky moments for sure. I'm enjoying it. Yeah. So
So for me, yeah, big week this week. I finally got a laptop with a 4060 in it so I could do some gaming. I've been playing some more Avowed on it and checking out what, ray tracing looks like and high, like 90 frame rates and everything. It's been pretty sweet. I
what
really like my hmm?
what's your graphics card?
uh RTX 4060.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well, that
Mm-hmm.
explains how you were able to do a 4K camera now.
Mm-hmm.
You got a
It's
better
got
graphics card than me.
Intel Core i7. It's got all kinds of fancy bells and whistles I'm still kind of figuring out. I'm dangerous with technology. Like I needed something like this that was all in one. That's not going to give me too much issue because it's all manufactured to work together. I have, and it's already given me some things a couple of times, but I really like it. I'm looking forward to being able to, play more stuff and hopefully be able to check out like a bunch of things, indies and stuff on Steam that I never really committed to before. Like it's just that I couldn't do much on my old PC. So even though I could do like a little bit of things, it just never really made me want to because I knew that like I was going to hit a hard wall real quick if I tried to get too crazy with anything.
You bought that
So,
old computer in 2016.
yeah.
Yeah, you weren't doing anything past 2020 of that bad boy.
Yeah, I just, it's one of those things like it's the only laptop I've ever bought. I've kept it in relatively good shape. So it always still seemed like nice to me. So,
How much did
and
this
I
one cost you? Like 1,500 or so?
no, it was like 1340 or something including tax, I think.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I figured
Mhm.
with the 4060 that would have boosted you up a little bit. Plus, it's a laptop, which generally they're a little more expensive, anyways.
And then I can expand the RAM, so it's only got 16 in it. So
Mm.
I can bump that up to 32 and that should help me to do some more, but I've been playing like I said Avowed on it this week a little bit more and I'm actually starting to like Avowed a lot more than initially I thought. And a lot of what I did to kind of get to that point was watch some outside content. So I went on YouTube, I watched some stuff on the lore of, the Pillars of Eternity universe and everything. And it's actually like really, really cool. It doesn't make me want to read all of, the like in game books and stuff, but having a lot more background now going into some of these interactions, I understand what they're talking about and what they're referencing. So the fiction of the world is actually really cool. Like a long time ago, there were these what were they? Not the adherents. The adherents are like the main guys that you are. I can't remember what the name of them. So the like ancient forerunner type people,
Hmm.
and they were like super advanced with soul magic. They could do a ton of stuff and they had like all this technology that let them like manipulate the souls and stuff. And they kind of figured out, hey, that there are no gods, or if there were the that made everything, they're long gone. It's basically just kind of us. And so they took all of this like soul technology and power that they had, and the universe kind of exists in this like wheel of rebirth and reincarnation. So they were able to siphon off the soul energy like from the wheels and turn 12 people into actual gods. And like they chose just like kind of the 12 like biggest ideas, like there's like a fire god and a light god and a queen god of vengeance and justice and
Hmm.
everything. So there's a whole mix of them, and they made them real and gave them all this power. And then they tried to like wipe out the existence of the ancient race so everybody would believe that these gods like had always been real and were the real thing. And so then when you get to the Pillars of Eternity games, which are set like I think like 2 or 3 thousand years like after
Hmm.
that, and in that world, like one of the gods is like, okay, I need to like reveal this. Like this has gone on long enough and things are kind of going out of whack. And so like the gods like try to like kill him, and then in like the second game he possesses this like giant statue and just starts like walking through the this like big archipelago to go destroy the machine that they had built to do all of that had been like kind of harnessing the power of the wheel. And so he like spoiler alert, he like breaks it, and now it's post all of that stuff that's happened is when Avowed takes place. But it's kind of in a world where they realize that news doesn't travel like overnight. So people know about what happened, but not everybody's like really knows about like there is no reincarnation anymore, and it's very the context adds so much more to the game that I
Hmm.
think really pulled me in and made me a lot more interested in it. I started to kind of get some better gear too, and I started to kind of, I don't know, the game has some interesting choices that I've seen in a lot of the reviews, like the gear system, for example. You have like 4 tiers for your gear, and each of those tiers has like 3 levels to it. You use crafting materials that you find to upgrade those levels and upgrade those tiers. Each tier is kind of set for an area. So you need to have gear of that tier to really be able to do your maximum damage and everything and kind of keep up with the content.
Hmm.
But from what everybody's saying, it's like you got to be kind of careful because, like, if you spend too much money or waste too much resources in the beginning of the game, you can actually find yourself in a pretty hard time later on. And also, like, it just feels a little bit like you're not finding very many different interesting things. Like, there's only one sword, or there's like a special, like, legendary named sword,
Gotcha.
but there's not like 2 or 3 kinds of just different sword for flavor or that have slightly different stats or anything like that. But the combat is still really fun. I'm having a good time with that. I'm done most of everything in the first area. Like, I really tried to like walk around and clear out as much of the map, fog, as I could, and do like all the side quests that I could. And I'm getting ready to move on to the second area. I also I haven't really been playing much of the black and white on the phone for the Pokemon, but I've been
Gotcha.
dabbling a little bit, so I might keep up with that a bit. Um, and
I see you have
oh,
here, you're looking for something good for traveling play, and I have a recommendation for you.
hmm,
Metroid Zero Mission. That's on GBA.
yeah, I actually haven't played Metroid Zero Mission.
Yeah. Apparently that one's pretty good. I haven't messed with it yet.
Okay, that'd be a good one.
Yeah. Be a nice
Um,
short one as well.
yeah, true, true. Oh, you know what? I should get that. Did I get the M2R from you?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty sure you did. If worst case scenario, yeah, you got it from me. That's a
Okay.
good one. That's a good one too, actually.
So the other thing this week, and it'll kind of lead into our first article here, Pokemon Pocket TCG. We got the new what is it? Something light expansion.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got some good pulls off that.
Yeah, what's
Me
it
not so
called
much. I just got the
here?
one big one.
Triumphant Light.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Triumphant Light expansion. Also my I don't know what happened, man. So I went into my like premium pass and I hit the unsubscribe
And you
like
subscribed?
2 days before the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And then it like re-upped automatically. So I don't know if like you unsubscribe through the app, if it doesn't actually unsubscribe you through like the Play Store auto pay setting or
It
something.
should, but I would double check the Play Store just in case.
Yeah, because like I saw the billing like the next day and I was like, I was all pumped because I was like, it worked. I got we thought that I would get like all 3 months for just paying at the end of January. And I saved up like the 240 pack hourglasses so that I could open enough packs to try to do like all the premium stuff
Mm-hmm.
on that first day, but it wasn't enough. You would need way more than enough to open 20
Yeah,
packs to
on the
get
first.
all of the like you
Mm-hmm.
need like 10 fire cards and like 10 of this diamond rank cards, so you're not going to get like all of those, but you can get still most of the premium stuff
Yeah.
for that. I don't know.
I I was looking at maybe doing premium like middle of the month, but it's a
Mm-hmm.
Darkrai EX is like the free card, so that
And
was
it's just like the Moltres, it's the same thing, it just looks a little bit different.
exactly. So I was like, I'm not messing with that. So now the last month's was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been down for that one, but I wasn't gonna, pay again because I already bought in December into December to January is what I did. So,
Yeah, I'm definitely going to cancel it out this time. I think that
mhm.
the best thing of having, because this is like my second or third month, I think it's my second month of doing the premium on here because I did the first premium on the
Mhm.
iPad on accident. But I've got so many of the like premium tickets that I should be able to get like all of the different like coins that they put out monthly moving
Yeah,
forward without any issue for some time
even
because
having
I
just
like
some
those.
even just having done premium, like, twice, I have, like, plenty of tokens to do that or plenty of tickets, so, yeah,
Yeah, I like the coins. I'm not super big on the sleeves or the play mats or the binders.
same.
Like, I'm gonna keep getting the binders that you can get with the regular tickets because I
Yeah.
like having. I'm gonna try to have like a binder for each set.
Mm. Nice.
Um, I haven't really found any new decks that I've played yet. I mean, it's only been a couple of days, and unfortunately, my favorite YouTuber for this content, he lost his voice. He's put out a couple of videos highlighting some decks, but it's very Arceus centric. Like most of the decks that people are doing right now are Arceus plus whatever other, Arceus enabler you want that's in that set. So,
Yeah. I I have not done any sort of battling. I do know that ranked is coming out pretty soon. It's one of the things obviously was announced on your article. And I've just been opening packs. That's it. I opened a couple
did you
packs.
get anything good from those bonus packs? I sure didn't. I got like a
I
Starmie and a Blastoise
I got the same
and an
shit. I got
Articuno, I think.
yeah, I got exactly that actually. And I
Oh,
had
you
them on
did?
yeah, I'm not kidding you. I got a Starmie, a Blastoise, and an Articuno. Yeah. Except on my iPad or my tablet, I got a Blastoise, a Starmie, and um like some alternate art of like an uncommon card or something that was
Mm,
like oh, it was a Porygon. I got the
mm.
Porygon 1 star. So otherwise, yeah, I got the same exact thing you did.
Oh, that would be I was like, are they just the same for everyone? That's wild.
Well, I mean, 2 out of the 3 on my other one were.
Mhm.
So yeah, I got Starmie and Blastoise on my other one and then ended up with the Porygon randomly.
Interesting.
So yeah, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they were all the same. Um,
Or maybe like a more limited pool or something, who knows. It
Probably,
did give
yeah.
me the extra Blastoise EX that I needed to make a new Blastoise deck, so that was
Yeah.
cool.
Like I said, I haven't been battling. But let's dive into your article here.
Yeah, so this week we had Pokemon Day 2025. We got to see a whole bunch of different stuff there, and this was definitely the year that I felt like the most actually interested in Pokemon Day. Usually it's just like, okay, like let's see what the new mainline game is. And then you're watching and you forget just how many side hustles Pokemon has going on. But being obviously into the trading card game Pocket for a while, um, I'm interested in that. I've been watching some new content on YouTube over the past few months. There's a guy I watch, I think it's Soda TCG, and he does these videos where like every video he'll do um how good is drawing in card games, and he'll show you like how the draw mechanic works in Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Hearthstone, and Magic. So he uses those four games and analyzes like how good are like destruction cards or how good is discard in a video. So I know a little bit more about Pokemon TCG than I ever really have.
Yeah.
um, just a few weeks ago, I started watching Wolf Glick or Wolfie VGC on YouTube. He is a former world champion at competitive Pokemon. I've been watching a ton of his content over the last couple of weeks, so I know more about competitive Pokemon than I ever have in my life. And seeing the Pokemon Champions reveal, I was like, oh my God, I got to watch Wolfie's reaction to this because he was doing like a live stream of it. And yeah, he posted a video like the next day saying how much he thinks this is going to change like everything, because the way that most people engage with Pokemon as like the biggest media franchise out there, there's really not a huge emphasis on, the competitive scene. And this is going to be like a lot more of that. Double battles, probably with format restrictions. It's going to be linked to a bunch of the systems like Pokemon Home and stuff. So this is hopefully going to make people who want to get in and actually play in competitive a lot, easier to do so, hopefully. Because the one thing that people say is super hard about that is not just like the knowledge base that you have to build up, but like the fact that you have to like catch all these Pokemon and like IV train them and get them like ready for this tournament and everything can be like a pain.
Oh yeah, yeah, you can't just rare candy them up. Like you have to be
Hmm.
hard on it. And I mean, and there's other elements, right? Like what items are they holding? What types of bonuses can you give them throughout that period of time? So there's a lot that goes into it, and very time consuming as well.
Yeah, if this is a system that makes that kind of like easier to get into, it's something I would definitely check out. Um, Pokemon Legends ZA, we got a lot more of that, and I'm trying to be positive because, especially after watching like some people who are really into Pokemon, like Wolfie, um, he he gave like Scarlet and Violet like a 10 out of 10 when it came out, which is way, way above and beyond what it deserved. And he kind of had a video walking some of that back, but like,
That's just Pokemon fans, dude. Like,
yeah, it's
you
just,
know,
well, the thing is,
love
like,
the
you
product.
know what Pokemon is going to give us. So setting your expectations too high and then being disappointed and mad at them for underperforming is a little bit ridiculous to do, because at this point, I think we've all learned that lesson. Like, Pokemon's been 3D, it's been on these consoles long enough. We already knew, like, from some leaks a couple of weeks ago, or rumors from a couple of weeks ago, that like Legend ZA was reportedly coming out on Switch with no meaningful updates or improvements on Switch 2 hardware. So this is not even a game that's like, all right, just wait and it'll look better in 6 months when we have the Switch 2. Like, this is just what this game is going to be. So, like, judge it for what it is, not for what you wish it was, is kind of like the mentality I'm having to keep in mind. But man, like,
Mhm.
it just is so disappointing to have this kind of like cool, like, I love Detective Pikachu the movie, because like seeing how Pokemon just integrate into like a world, or like I love like in the Pokemon games originally where it's like, oh, the Machamps are like helping you move, like that's so fun and cool. Like, just to know that there's this thing that's supposed to be that like living with Pokemon in a world, and like having it be like open world and next kind of like level with the combat and stuff. It's got so much promise, but it is just going to be held down by those graphics and so
Yeah.
many limitations. It's going to be hard to like look past the 7 or whatever for this game.
Oh, there's a dog.
I know. Stop.
Is he right next to you?
Yeah, yeah, he's right
Oh,
here.
no. Um, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. And that's one reason that people are so drawn to things like Pal World, right? Um, you kind of got the best of both worlds. You got some great graphics that are coming through, open world, the Pokemon like aspects of it, the building, the survival components, guns, like it's all it has everything, right? And then like you said, like there's open world great graphics as Pokemon, you've got that notoriety tied behind it, but then just, you know, probably a lack of voice acting, I would say, right? There's not going to be a ton of voice acting. If anything, it'll be a little
Pika.
bit. Yeah, Pika Pika. And then of course, the graphics. And it's always this feeling of Nintendo and a Pokemon company purposefully putting out a product that is inferior in terms of graphics and voice acting to keep the costs down and maximize that profit. And I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing for the company. Like it's probably great. They're making tons of money off of this because the costs are low. But
I
just the
mean, it's
fan.
the biggest franchise
Yeah.
in the world.
But the
There
fan
is no bigger IP than Pokemon.
but the fans honestly deserve better than that. And that's just unfortunate. Like they put out great products for the most part, and they're fun games. I mean, everyone loves Pokemon, but come on, give us a little bit more. Like if your difference in profit is say 10 million in terms of like the voice acting component and integrating it, then sure, $10 million. Like
There's no way it costs $10 million
I'm
to
I'm just
add voice acting.
I'm just
That
saying,
would blow me away.
I don't know. Aren't a lot of these AAA games hitting like $200 million we saw a while back?
Not
Like
for like the
they're hitting.
voice acting
No,
budget.
I know. I'm exaggerating. I'm throwing in a number. And that's the thing. That's if you're finding premier like high-end voice actors. You could find people that are, you know, fresh, like just getting into the industry or been in for a little
Just
bit and
put
have
in
some
all
low
the
credits.
bit crushed Pokemon cries from the Game Boy.
Yeah. They're- God, that would be the next level. But they
Go
have
fax machine.
they have the ability to do this stuff and the finances to back it. They just won't, and it's just so unfortunate, dude. So, what else is on that list?
So other things that are getting Pokemon Unite is getting some more Pokemon. That's their MOBA. I've never actually played it.
I haven't
It's
either.
supposed to be pretty fun. I don't know. I just got out of MOBAs a long time ago and haven't really gone back to any. Pokemon Masters, I've never messed with. It's some kind of battling game, but you battle like just NPCs or something, like different gym leaders or something. I don't know. Pokemon Sleep. I was actually doing Pokemon Sleep for like 7 or 8 months.
Hmm.
And then like a month and a half ago, I got tired of like having to do the stuff when I woke up first thing and having to do the stuff last thing before I go to bed. It
Yeah.
just was not something I was interested in doing anymore. And like they also didn't have smartwatch integration with it. I guess that just came out. I don't It wasn't like announced there at the Pokemon Sleep, but I've been
Hmm.
seeing a bunch of stuff in my Google feed about it having the smartwatch integration now.
It should have had integration when it came out.
Well, they
Like,
were like trying to make their own like smartwatch toy
oh,
thing to
of
go with
course they
it, like
were.
how
Yeah.
they had, like the pedometer for Pokemon Go and all that stuff. Um,
Yeah.
the
I mean,
Alarmo.
that's a situation where partnership is always best, right? Like they could have very easily licensed a Pokemon Google Watch or Samsung Watch, right? And then gotten a little portion of that. Samsung would have sold out immediately of that product and it would have had direct integration with their, with their setup. And of course, you could still integrate with Fitbit, which I think is going away, and Garmin and all these other, apps like that. That would have been 100% okay. And probably would have had a greater user base long term. I mean, hopefully it's still doing well for them, but um, yeah, it just seems like a miss to have not done that
Mhm.
initially.
And then also new episodes of Pokemon Concierge, which I haven't seen, but it looks adorable and
It is.
um
It's good.
everybody says that it's really good. So
Yeah. Yeah. I
that's
watched them a
fun.
while back. Yeah.
And then Pokemon Cafe Remix, some app game that I don't really pay attention to. So, there's like I said, I was the most interested that I've been in Pokemon in quite some time for this, but I don't know. There's still there's still a lot of hit and miss just because of how broad the appeal is. They certainly kind of tricked us. When it was the Pokemon Champions announcement, everybody thought it was like because it was going through like the whole history. It showed them like playing on the Game Boy and like going through each generation, and like you really thought, okay, this is going to be the Gen 10 announcement, or I heard or saw a bunch of rumors like the week before of like some kind of collection coming, like an OG collection that might have like red and blue and gold and silver or something on it, or possibly the original games coming to NSO was kind of rumored. So there's been a lot of speculation, but I think that what we got in Champions and the reveal of more ZA plus the good stuff from Pocket and all these other spin-off games, I think Pokemon, is still, yeah, has a huge bright future ahead of it. And everybody's going to be, waiting for that next thing forever. Got to catch them all.
Yep. Got to catch all of them. So, diving into the next thing here, your favorite topic is
Oh yeah.
console rumors. Oh yeah, absolutely. Wait until Xbox stuff starts happening. So PlayStation, PlayStation 6 latest. So this is basically coming across from Expressco UK, which I hadn't heard of them, but this is more of an opinion piece, and it's essentially saying that Sony cannot delay the PlayStation 6, which a lot of assumptions that it would be released in 2028. Uh, Liam here believes that it should be released in 2027. Reason being is we're seeing double digit losses year over year in terms of sales percentages from Sony for the PS4 or PS5 and PS5 Pro compared to last year. And then when you start looking at things like console to console around the same time frame, we're also seeing lower sales totals between those as well. Um, I, just I look at this and kind of wonder if the writer isn't necessarily looking at the grand scheme of things and what's happening, right? So on a global basis, things have gotten a lot more expensive. Not everybody's able to afford this. Inflation rates are, some of the highest ever. I think they've dipped a bit, but they're still high. Um, the price of a console is much higher than what it was back then, even accounting for inflation. Then you have to factor in, people weren't asking for a PlayStation 5. It wasn't exactly like the top of everybody's list. People would be willing to purchase it and upgrade from their existing
The
console,
Pro.
but the Pro, sorry, PS5 Pro. Um, so it wasn't exactly asked for, and we're seeing that it had that initial spike in sales. Now it's dipped quite a bit. I think it was 40 or 50% is what it's seeing in terms of last sales data that they had comparing. And when you kind of consider the time frame, we're looking at what 2016, 2017, I want to say is when the PS4 Pro was released. I mean, we're talking 8 years ago. The world is a very different place. People had a little more flexibility with their finances, and um, I think that's just one thing to factor in. And then when you just look at Nintendo, Microsoft, and and Sony, all three of them are showing lower results compared to last year in terms of game sales. It's slowing all around. It's not like it's just Sony's PlayStation console is not selling well. Like all of them are selling less. So that to me isn't an indicator of Sony's got to be the first out the gate in 2027 to get a console out. That's just the market. That's just the ebbs and flows of it. So I really do disagree with this standpoint. I do think it should just come out during the normal cycle that they were planning and just kind of stick to that script and then move forward as planned.
Yeah. So, I mean, numbers are numbers. Numbers down. Um, numbers are numbers. Also, that Xbox is going to be coming out probably in 2026 with whatever kind of handheld Xbox version that they're working on. But ultimately, PlayStation's beating the pants off of Xbox, and they're going to be going multi-platform with all their games. So they don't really have anybody that they need to compete with on like a release schedule anymore.
Hmm.
Nintendo has offset themselves so much from everybody else's release cadence. They're
Yep.
in their own world. Sony really has no competition. So there isn't really anything driving them to have to reach that next point any sooner than they're absolutely ready for. And most people are still not really confident of where this generation is. Honestly, it's been 5 years and most people are still like, where's all my super awesome next gen games that I want? Like, it doesn't feel like we've gotten, enough games to really have had a satisfying, big first party catalog from anybody. And worse yet, the time that it takes to develop new games. If you wanted to release a PlayStation in 2027, you better have started on those games 2 years ago if you want them there for launch day, because otherwise there's no chance.
Yeah.
So the timing on all this stuff, like it, it's going to be really the hardest part of it. I think moving forward is when you've got a 5 year span on a game, like, are you only going to make one game per, big giant studio per generation? Or can you afford to make that generation last so that you can get two out? Or make that second one crossplay on both consoles so that you're getting, that sale, but also new adopters. Like, there's so much that goes into launching a new generation, and the time investment and the wasted time in gaming too. Like, so much of this generation has been wasted on pursuing games that have not been successful because they've been live service, pipe dreams, or just for whatever reason, layoffs, studio shutdowns, so much has happened to affect things that I feel like there needs to be a lot more, you know, strength and cement in this generation before we really start looking at the next one anytime soon from
Well, and
PlayStation.
the other thing is technology going to be caught up in 2027. I mean, a year makes a huge difference in terms of pricing and other bits of tech that are going to be out in the market at that point. So I
It's all
just
going to
looked it
be
up.
AI integrated garbage.
Yeah, I just I just looked it up right now, and like 8K TVs, you'd figure 8K is more than likely going to be the main selling point, right? 8K was supposed to be happening this gen and it got removed from boxes. So if 8K is going to be a selling point in 2027, 2028, well, TVs right now are running $2,000 and $9,000 for an 8K TV. Like you want to have that price point a little lower. Like we're just getting to the point now where you can get 4K TVs in like the $400 and $500 range.
I
Um,
remember when those came out, I was working construction and like we were sitting around talking one morning about how 4K TVs just came out and they were like $25,000.
yeah,
And it's just like, holy cow. And now it's like, you can't not get a 32, you know, inch 4K TV for $400. Like that's basically like the entry point for a TV. It's hard to find anything less than that.
yeah. I just bought a 4K TV, a new one with like OLED and everything else, new Bravia, and that one was like $1,200 like a year and a half ago. I think is what I paid for it. Of course, I get like cashback bonus and stuff on my card, so it's always nice to do that. But yeah, I mean, like overall, like tech probably isn't gonna be caught up. We're just now talking about Toshiba releasing, I think it's 50 terabyte size hard drives. And the plan is like the end of, I think I want to say it's during 2026 is the planned release on like that type of, you know, storage capacity. So
Storage is so crazy. And they
yeah,
still want to charge you like 200 more dollars for like a terabyte on your phone. It's like, come on, man. I
it's
could buy a
insane.
2 terabyte hard drive for $85. I just did it.
You could buy you could easily buy I was looking the other day 14 terabyte hard drives for about $200 if you get like the Seagate's external
Mm.
hard drives, and you just shuck that thing open and pull the hard drive out. $200 for 14 terabyte commercial quality drive. So, or enterprise drive. I mean, like an Exos drive. So, yeah, I mean it's insane that we would think, hey, 2027 release date. I think 2028 is definitely going to be what it is. You're right. Microsoft is more than likely coming out with some sort of handheld, more than likely not a major home console. I still predict it's going to be some sort of hook up to your TV. That would be my thought, kind of like that little Chromecast and such or Fire Stick. So I think that's just the direction things are going. And, you know, if Sony's going to release like the traditional home console and maybe have, you know, physical media and such for it, then yeah, they're kind of in a league of their own at that point. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Gaming industry can change in 6 months. Never know.
Right.
All right, let's go into our inflation deflation of the week. So we played some Mega Man 4 on the NES, or played. I'll get some air quotes on that one. Developed by Capcom, published by Capcom, designed by Yoshinori Takanaka, S Kobashi, and then we have Kaiji Inafune is the other one. I have all my little dashes in there. It's great to be able to do my pronunciations. It was released in December of 1991. It is an action platformer game. 8 to 10 out of the overall reception, or 8 out of 10
Yeah.
overall reception.
So Mega Man 4 takes place in the year 2000X when Russian scientist Dr. Cossack launches an attempt to take over the world by unleashing an army of robots. A very Dr. Wily plan of him. Too bad Mega Man, the blue bomber, is here to stop him if we can control him and navigate these hard ass levels and terrifying cute monster robots of death. These
So,
games.
which
Go
level
ahead.
did you start on?
So my first try, I think I started with Pharaoh Man.
That's the easiest one, actually,
It was not.
and Toad Man as well.
I didn't. I started Pharaoh Man, and then I couldn't beat him. I tried really hard. He was just too fast, and maybe I wasn't charging my buster. I guess I didn't even see if I had a charge buster or not. So
Yeah,
that might have been my problem.
maybe. Um, well, I got through the Toadman level,
Okay.
all the way to the end. I didn't actually finish a boss at that point. It was so it's a hard game. I mean, most of
Yeah.
these Nintendo games are hard, right? Especially Mega Man. It's like
Mega
notorious.
Man's so
This
hard.
this isn't even the hardest one. That's what's terrible. Like so but what's funny is I played Mega Man 1 when I was a kid at my uncle's house, so I got really used to that game and enjoyed it. This one I just, you know, I liked it what I was playing. Um but it's still difficult, right? And that's just the nature of it. And I would say a lot of it is learning enemy patterns. You know, it's a little bit of get good is the situation on this. So in the Toad level, you had these like birds that were swooping down. Like you just had to time it just right. Like get your buster powered up and at the right moment, just go ahead and kill the enemies that are coming in. I did notice in this game that the enemies respawn. If you just happen to go back a little bit, they will
Yeah.
respawn. So you have to continue moving forward. There is a slide function that I, for whatever reason, can never figure out. I'm guessing it's like down, down or something to do it. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's enemy patterns was a big thing for me on this. And then, just making sure my platforming was on point. So I was able to get through one level essentially with the time I had, and I enjoyed it. You know, it was a decent platform. I mean, the graphics were good for the time. I mean, actually pretty quality graphics for a game of this age. And the music was on point, and I felt the controls were actually pretty smooth in what I was playing. So I don't, by all means, I didn't think it was a bad game. It's just hard in
Yeah,
general, and
Mega
a
Man's
lot.
a very fair game. Like
Well,
you're
they're also
never
old.
it's yeah, it's always your fault when you die in Mega Man, which is pretty good. Like there's not really a lot of situations you're going to find yourself in where, some games kind of screw you. Mega Man's pretty good about not doing that. You
Yeah,
can only really do so much in Mega Man. Um and it's just kind of fast and frantic and unforgiving. It's definitely always been one of those series that I don't like to play. I really like visually. I like Mega Man's design, and all the robots are cool or cute. They've got a pretty good aesthetic going on there. Some of the other Mega Man like spin-off stuff I like more, like um Mega Man Legends is cool. I tried playing one of the Battle Network games. That was pretty cool. Mega Man has such a legacy, and for Mega Man 4 particular, I mean, there's nothing that in my mind really makes it stand out any more or less than any other Mega Man game that I've ever really played. So it's kind of just that same experience that I'm used to with Mega Man. Just go in, get my ass handed to me until I'm ready to walk away. Like this is really a genre for children without options and really dedicated people, because unless you really want like that challenge, or there's just something about Mega Man that just captures you and you want to play it, the only thing that would make me do it is if it was literally the only choice I had for gaming at that time, and it's like, well, I want to play a video game, this is all I could do.
I don't know. Children without options sounds like a Silver Surfer
Hmm.
on NES. That's what that sounds like. Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's at the end of the day, it's Mega Man, right? Like we all got the general concept. You're jumping up and down with Mega
Jump
Man,
and shoot, man.
shooting, beams out of a buster and charging
Lemons.
it. Lemons, yeah, lemons, shooting lemons. Uh, yeah, basic game for the most part. Outside of the need to get good, and I will say I will not hold the get good component against it in our discussion here. So I do think the 8 out of 10 is justified on that. I don't think that that is a bad score. I think that is actually very appropriate for what you're playing. And in terms of the quality of the game itself, it does have that difficulty range. It does take some getting used to, but that does not detract from the fact that it is still a decent game. So looking at brass tacks, complete in box right now will run you 175.64. It peaked at 256.64 in February of 2022. That's trending down in price. A loose copy will run you 41.83, but peaked at 56.66 in January of 2022. That's also trending down. But you can get it on a digital console setup, 14.99. Switch Mega Man Legacy Collection, and a Game Boy version is included with Nintendo Switch Online.
I believe
So
that collection comes with like the first 6 Mega Man games.
I don't
Because I
remember.
think they like split the collection in two. There's a bunch of ways you can get this game. Actually, if you
Yeah.
look on price charting, I mean, over the years, there's been a bunch of Mega Man collections or different things that you can get for various consoles. So you can kind of pick, your price point and console that you want to go for here. And I'm not sure if this is one of those situations where the Game Boy is the same or if there's a lot of difference between them.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would say though that those legacy collections are going to be the best bet here compared to obviously paying out on a loose copy, for example. And then you like to talk box artwork. I think the Mega Man games have some of the worst box art on
Yeah,
all the NES
American
games.
Mega Man box art, terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
yeah. And it's funny, my copy of Mega Man 4 is actually, I think I mentioned it last week, I might not have. It is the first game that I actually did a label swap on, where I actually printed out a label and put a new label on my game. So my Mega Man 4 label was jacked, dude. It was like torn off a giant chunk. Like I don't even know how that happens. But I ended up label swapping a long time
Yeah,
ago and
Mega Man
looks
4,
great.
way cooler cover in Japan.
Yeah. Go look that up, people. You'll see what we're talking about. Huge
Or
differences
Rockman,
there.
I should say. Rockman 4.
Yeah, and then so little history component there for people is it would have come to the U.S. as Rockman, except they're like Americans aren't going to like Rockman. That doesn't work. Let's call it Mega Man. So we got Mega Man, but it is traditionally supposed to be Rockman. You
He
know,
doesn't he doesn't do anything with rocks.
no. Well, he launches lemons.
Well,
I guess
there's
you
like
could say they're
rock
rocks.
and roll. It was just like a naming thing, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. But I do like the choice of using Mega Man. That to me is a much better name for his character, and mega difficult, right? That
Mhm.
that makes sense as well. All right. So speaking of difficult games, well, I guess what are we thinking here? I think it's inflated at this price.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
175, way too much for that cover, and 4183. There's just so much better games you could get for $40 out there.
Now, if you are trying to finish up a Nintendo set, 41 is your lowest price in, well, not your lowest price, but it is lower than the peak at 56.66. So you're still kind of going ahead $15 if you want to get it now. So something to consider there, but I agree it's inflated. Now, speaking of hard video games, though, go ahead and mark what we're going to be playing as our next 4 games, keeping in mind that you might not be recording with me the next couple weeks due to your move and everything.
Yeah, depending on how we can fit me in here. But next up on our list, we've got actually inspired by Mega Man here. We took a look. There's actually a wiki for Nintendo Hard. So we picked 4 games off of the Nintendo Hard wiki. Of course, there's going to be Battletoads. There will be Paperboy. Let's go classic Mega Man 1. And then one that just caught my eye for the name, Cybernoid, the fighting machine. So we'll check out those classically hard Nintendo titles and let you know how expensive they are and how hard they are and how not worth the money they are.
Yeah, I'm looking here and I'm wondering if I have Cybernoid on any other consoles because we could do a comparison, but I don't. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We'll dive into some of those hard video games, and who knows, maybe we'll have a part 2 of Nintendo hard games down the road. Um, just to we like to bring pain upon ourselves playing video games. So that's our goal in life, isn't it?
No,
No,
that's
no, it isn't.
that's your goal. Once in a while, you
Once
bring
in a
this
while,
up. You're like, let's do hard games, and I'm like,
you're like, I
you know
want to
how
have
much
fun.
fun we have when we like every once in a while we're like we could just play fun games and then we have like a really good month and then eventually we're back to playing like weird and shitty and hard games and it's like we should go back to playing fun games again. I always like
It's
when that comes around.
it's a good reset. That's what it is. It's acts as a reset. We have to play some really difficult games. So when we play the like okay shitty games, they come off as like fantastic games for us because
Yeah,
they're not as
yeah,
bad as the others that we played. It's not to say that these games are terrible, by the way. Like, let me see if there's any reviews for any of these. Actually, you know what? Reception. Okay, so like Your Sinclair awarded Cybernoid a 9 out of 10. That's positive, right? Number 36 in Your Sinclair's official top 100 games of all time. That's a that could be
Who?
good. I don't know. Mega Man is let's just see. I mean, we're doing spoilers here. 24 out of 40 by Fatsumu. 83% in the Game Machine. IGN gave an 8 out of 10. So we got some decent games, I think, right? What's Battletoads? Yeah, Battletoads, 9 out of 10, Ryan. 9 out of 10. We just got to get past the tunnel. Once you
Call
get
up your
past the tunnel,
local GameStop. Ask if they have Battletoads.
once you get past the tunnel, you're good. Actually, I might play that on like some sort of, I don't know, something to be able to pause. Oh, you know what? I have saved.
Some sort of preservation device.
No, I have save states on my my Retron 5.
There you go.
So Battletoads is going to be using a lot of save states. That'll be fun. Yeah, it'll be a good time. Be a good time. Maybe when you come over, we can play some Battletoads. Get it knocked out.
It is 2-player.
Yeah. Oh god, dude, it's been a long time since I played that game. It's gonna be rough. All right, well, this has been episode 330 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John,
I'm Ryan.
and thanks for watching and listening.